Hey guys, Chris again from ClassicVWBugs.com, and in this video I want to talk to you about the state of the market today when it comes to vintage Volkswagens. Guys, I get emails all the time with people that are looking to invest into a vintage Beetle, a vintage Ghia, Bus, Type 3, whatever, and they don't know where to start. They don't know how much money it's going to actually cost to get into a Beetle. So I'm here to basically state to you, where we're at right now. This is 2015, summer of 2015, and I'd like to give you a breakdown of the values of what Beetles in general are going for. Many people are also coming to me saying, hey, look, I want to invest into a Beetle because the appreciation of a Beetle has been great, and it has been, and it's been steadily increasing. So I notice over the years between 10 and 20% they have been appreciating year after year, depending on, of course, the year, make, and model. Some years, of course, are appreciating more than others based on the rarity of the car and the features that are on that particular car. So one thing to look out for, again, is there's a ton of ads out online right now, and there's a surge going on the internet just lately. This year specifically, it has exploded with the amount of ads that have been put online. And again, I think because people are getting up to speed with the internet and knowing how to list an ad now. The problem with all these ads is that it's saturating the market. Everybody thinks they have gold. Everybody sees what that other guy is listing the Beetle for, and oh, I have that same car, and I'm going to ask that same price. Or I just saw Barrett Jackson or RM auctions, and the Beetle went for $60,000. I have that same car. I'm going to list that car at my car at that price. And that's really, we got to watch out for that because unless you're a professional restorer and you're putting these cars together correctly. That's really the exception, not the rule. So I use a value guide called CollectorCarMarket.com, and I've been following this website for quite a while now, since I even started this business. And generally speaking, it gives you a nice overview of how the cars are valued. Of course, you have NADA, you have Kelley Blue Book, but I like the Collector Car Market. I thought that was a really good breakdown of what these cars are going for. And another great way to check the market is by looking on eBay. I know people kind of scoff at eBay when it comes to cars in general, but eBay is still the largest online dealership in the world. And at least on eBay, you can even see completed listings and see what the cars went for and what they sold for. And that's a really good gauge of the market as well. Websites like the Samba, love-hate relationship I got with that site. It's a great information site. It's a great place to look on the forums and chat with people, find a rare part, or find even that rare car. But the problem with the Samba is that you don't see what these cars actually sell for, and the prices have been all over the place on that website. Very, very high for stuff that shouldn't be where it is, and very low where sometimes you can find a great deal. For the most part, though, it's very distorted. So you got to be careful when you browse a site like the Samba or even Craigslist, because you really don't know what the actual car went for. That being said, let's get a general breakdown here. I'm going to show you CollectorCarMarket.com and their value guides, and I'll go into more detail and explain to you exactly what we're looking at. So here's CollectorCarMarket.com. It's a great website. And at the top of the page, you see pricing. So you're going to want to click that. And then click Volkswagen, of course. And then here's the year breakdowns. Now, if you're new to getting into a Beetle and you want to check out the years and thumb through these years and see what the guides are going, what they're showing as far as value, and then gauge there your budget and see which you'd like to get. Now, before we jump into looking at the years and breakdown, here is the Collector Car Market condition guides. They got one, of course, being the best condition, excellent condition, not necessarily Concours edition, excellent condition, down to parts or even salvage. So, I see a lot of cars that are for sale, especially split windows, oval windows with the rag tops, and they're salvage cars or they're in poor condition and need a full restoration, and these guys are asking crazy prices, $10, $20, sometimes $30,000 for a project that's missing stuff and is rusted. But if you go by this guide, that'll quickly show you that they are way off. Now here is the 51 split window Beetle value guide. Now this site will basically value all split windows the same, starting from the 40s Beetles all the way up to the early 53 Zwitter Beetle. And that's arguable because, 48s, 47s, 49 Beetles are going to be valued at much higher, in my opinion, than say a 52 or 53 split window Beetle. I've seen firsthand, Zwitter Beetles, 51 Beetles, 50s Beetles goes for 60 or more, but in show condition, Concours edition condition, but the 40s Beetles, if they're in really great condition, could be into the six figures, so be on the lookout for that. But if you also notice here on this split window guide, they do not show convertible, nor do they show fold back sunroof, and those will be valued much more than the number one coupe condition that you see here. So got to kind of consider that. You got to figure 10-20% increase for those BuGs. Now we're getting into, say, the oval window era. So basically from 53 to 57, this guide will lump together the ovals all the same. Now I'll disagree with that as well. This value that you see here, say, okay, a two-door convertible, I would say that's more the 56, 57 range, even when it comes to the coupe. 33,000 is 56, 57 range. 55 and earlier, I believe, are valued higher, in my opinion. So I've seen it firsthand. 54 ragtops that we've had, 53 ragtops, they've pulled in 40 plus here in my shop. So when they're professionally restored, done correctly, into a museum Concours level. So again, take this with a general overview, but generally oval Beetles are in this range. Now once you get into 58s and 59s, they're valued a little bit less. Convertibles are still about the same as they show, but the coupes did drop. Foldback sunroofs, of course, they're always increased by 10%. I've even seen more, maybe 15 to even 20% increase with a foldback sunroof. Everybody wants the sunroof. They're hot right now. And of course the convertibles, everybody loves the convertibles. So 58s and 59s are valued about the same, and they're great investments along with the ovals. So if you can't get an oval and you do find a 58, 59, do grab it, because they are a collectible BuG to have. Now 60 seems to be like a one-year guide, a one-year value. I don't know why, but they're very close to the 61 to 66 values, even to 67 to some degree, but it seems like a 1 year here, 60. They do drop a little bit from the 50s models, but generally speaking, they're all, relatively close. Okay, so from 61 to 66 they drop, and they're basically all the same through 66 as you see here, and a little bit down from 60, nothing crazy. I mean, it's still arguably, you can say that they're valued about all the same from basically 60 to 67, but there were some subtle value changes. Now funny enough, 67 actually goes up a bit after 66, probably because 67 is the one-year only model Beetle. It's a desirable Beetle because it still has the old look but has the updated features in it, as far as the motor, the mechanicals, the electric. It's 12 volt, but still sports the older look, and again, it has one-year only features on it in the American market, and as well as the European market. They got some funny differences compared to the earlier or the later Beetles. Now this is where it drops considerably, and again from 68 onward they go down from here. So you can go through those other years and see where they drop, and then based on your budget, you can make your call where you want to put your money. As you can see, the automatic transmission, anytime you see something with an automatic transmission, is valued less. I know you see a lot of ads online where people are saying they're rare or highly collectible. Yes, they may be rare, more rare than a standard model, but they are less valued. So be on the lookout for that. Sunroof, of course, is more desirable. So if you're under the 10 grand market, this is a great spot to go into, the 68 and later Beetles, because you can find many of them for under 10,000 that are high-end drivers, show cars. So definitely something to look into. Okay, so that was a general overview of CollectorCarMarket.com, and there's other sites like Collector Car Market, like Kelley Blue Book or NADA guys. Even Haggerty Insurance has their own guide as well, so you can gauge, where you should be placing your money and how much you should be placing. down to buy a Beetle. But general rule of thumb is that there's an influx of ads online, and you got to really be careful. I've seen more bugs for sale than ever before right now, and the prices are all over the place. Websites like the Samba or Craigslist, where they do not show completed listings, is kind of giving you a false sense of what these cars are valued at. Prices are very high on sites like the Samba. I got, again, a love-hate relationship with that site. I love it, but I hate it at the same time. Sometimes you're just seeing prices really high for stuff because they think they have the same product or what they saw on another website or listed also on the Samba that's at the same price. So you just got to really be careful. And of course, the best thing to do is to see the car in person, but engage that way. But general rule of thumb, if you're finding a project, like I like the 1955 and earlier Beetles. Those are just my sweet spot bugs. I like the oval rags and the splits, and these guys who have project splits, project oval rags, that sort of thing with the semaphores and the small tail lights. And the thing could be a complete rock box, missing seats, missing motors, missing fenders and other body components, or even the chassis is not original to the car, and they think they got something that's $15, $20, $25, even $30,000. I've seen those types of projects. The car's not even running, and it's rotted. I got to do channels and floors, and they think that's what the car is worth. And you go back to the collector car market, and you see the number 5 condition, which is the poor condition, which is generally speaking what that is, with minimal rust. And you talk only a few $1,000s, guys, to buy these projects. They're trying to dip into, some of the prices, some of the cars that, when they're all restored. I got a 51 split window behind me, something like that is valued pretty high. And I understand these guys are trying to dip into that piece of the pie because you got a rot box, and eventually it will be worth that kind of money. But in the end, no. That's because I got to put my time, effort, and money and sweat and tears into that in order to get it to that value. Just because you pulled it out of the barn, because there's barn finds everywhere now. Everyone says they have a barn find. They're trying to dip into that because it's popular when it's on these cable TV shows, these car shows. So, and everything's original. Everybody's claiming that they have an original car. And then in the same sentence, they'll say, I had to repaint the car, I had to rebuild the motor, or I had to change the front fender. But it is 100% original. Well, how could that be? 100% original is like that 65 Ruby Red that I found up in Wappingers Falls, New York. When I went up there, that thing was absolutely 100% original, unrestored, unmolested. Anytime you're changing the fender or you're repainting the car, you're rebuilding the motor, you're redoing electricals or whatever, that's not 100% original, guys. So people are throwing that out there like it's candy, so just really be careful. I think now you got a general overview of what you should be spending, what the market is right now. They are appreciating in value year after year. It's a good investment still, but just you got to weed out a lot of the crap that's in the sea of ads out there now. I mean, used to think these cars were rare. They are rare to the extent what's making them rare is what's really complete and all original. There's a lot of cars still listed for sale. So if you miss out on one that goes off, wait a little bit, be patient, and I'm sure something else will pop up again. So I've noticed that myself firsthand. I thought I'd never be able to find a 54 ragtop again or a 53 ragtop oval, and sure enough, I find them and they come around. They might not be as often, but they do come around more now than ever because of the internet. Back in the day before internet was prevalent and it was magazine ads or things like that, totally different ball game. So they're out there, guys, and thank God for the internet. We can find them and we can bring them back to life. So that being said, I'm sorry it was a mouthful. It's just something I really wanted to get off my chest here, and I've seen a lot of distortion online. I'm just looking out for you folks, and don't want anybody to get burned, and just keep an eye out, and I'm here to educate you. So if you got any questions whatsoever, Chris at classicvwbugs.com, or visit my website, www.classicvwbugs.com. Take care.